this is another little phrase that I just picked up off a radio programme. I need some space, get out of my face, which I thought was a nice little jokey phrase to turn into a lino cut, just to make some little blocks to experiment with colour. What I also was doing was looking at how this made an impression on the paper, and with that one it comes out like that. This is on dry paper, but I've also done some on wet paper as well, and it needed this lino with the fairly deep wide cuts to be able to do that. The other pieces didn't really work the same, but that's quite an interesting effect and something I can bear in mind to put into my prints as well. This is one I did on wet paper, and I think framed up nicely. That's got quite a lot of commercial value to busy women like myself. And once again I noticed that by doing that I got an impression of the print on my roller, so I again took a fresh sheet of paper and just cleaned the roller and rolled it across once to print off the marks that were left on the roller. And again, really interesting effect by itself. Then I did the print proper, and it came out like this, which I was much more pleased with. It's integrated the blue and the yellows, so I've got areas of yellow, areas of blue, areas where the ink is mixed, and I was much more careful over the printing it. It's hand printed from the back, and I went over this several times with a soft pad, which is here. I've made myself one of these, which I've had for quite a long time, so I could just push down hard from the back to get an impression there. I also used my trusty pecan nut, which again just going over every area, just printing up, and that's I managed to get the edges really smooth on that one. And I also worked on embossing it, so I'd had a practice with that on the last print, which is here. I'd just done a little area where I'd tried to use different tools and go through it on the back to see what I could get with embossing. So I worked on that much more carefully with this print, and I don't know whether it shows there, but I've managed to get embossed ridges here and around these areas, and then I've been around the whole of the outside of the plate, so I've managed to get quite a nice clean embossed effect there, so that the print sits back on the paper. Also the bottle and the glass embossed there, and I also worked on an area of netting, just rubbing through from the back to see what I could get. So I think I've now got enough different effects from that, and I've learnt what the materials do. It's changed my thinking on how deep and the collaged materials need to be. These areas with the masking tape, although it's very thin, actually work really nicely together, and areas where you've got hard plastic actually are quite difficult to handle, and very difficult to get the ink where you want it. But then thin plastic here has worked nicely, and I've been able to sort of gauge the effect of the embossing you get from different materials. So I think I've got enough information to work with here from this practice to be able to do my rational print, and I've decided to work on the Degas woman in the tub because it's a really simple shape, and I think it's now my task this week is to work out how to print it very, very well.